Hi again, it's Andre with the Impulsive Thinker podcast. Today I have Dr. Brandy Nemchenko coming back as our guest host today. She is the CEO and founder of Experience Chiropractic and the clinical director of Bloom. Hi, Brandy. Welcome again. I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Thanks, Andre. I'm happy to be back.
Fire away. What are we talking about today?
I'm so excited about this. So I want to learn more about you. Fascinate me. Every time we have a strategic coach or 10X, there's a lot of chatting because both of us are impulsive thinkers.
I'd like to say thank you very much. Not a lot of people say that. I appreciate it. Much gratitude.
I adore your authenticity. So I'm curious to talk about what things in terms of last time when we did our podcast, we talked about surrounding yourself with the right team who could work with us. What's your experience with that?
Oh, my experience has been horrible to getting a lot better now.
Tell me about like what's worked well for you.
Well, what's working well now is I'm actually paying people. For a while there, I was always trying to figure out how to get someone here at a reasonable rate. And at the same time, not getting someone who wanted to use their brain. Right now with the engineering company, Objective Engineering, with COVID, we actually overhauled our whole staff. The only two people originally here from the beginning of COVID is myself and my business partner. And this time I said, I got to do something different. And we finally got people in that wants to use their brains and have a work ethic. And I had to volunteer a little more money for that. But at the same time, I think the biggest difference was actually, I was reading about this the other day or I heard it on a podcast, I can't remember anymore, but basically is if you're insecure, you are going to end up drawing in insecure people in your circle. And I took that as I've been hiring insecure people because I was insecure. And like some people say is it's an investment in yourself to hire someone, and hiring that person is not, hiring the person is not taking a chance on that person, is it taking a chance on yourself?
That's deep. I like that you say that. And we've heard before batteries included, right? We're looking for batteries included type people. So yeah. What processes have you changed? Like what actual, from the way that you were running before, where do you think that you were not doing that? Were you not clear on the process or clear on what you wanted?
Well, the job description was massively important. We changed that to be more specific and wording, didn't word it this way, but basically I want you to use your brain, be accountable, and be open to accountability and just motor through and grow this entrepreneurial company. Because the other thing too, I realized is that an entrepreneurial company does not work like a corporate company, right? Like I even got in a buddy's engineering firm. The entrepreneur that started is no longer there. It's run by a group of people. They're just business owners, but they don't have that entrepreneurial mindset of the exponential growth that we're going for. So I've actually referred people to them because they can't keep up with the entrepreneur. You know, we want to grow. We want to try this. We want to try that. And especially for a startup, you went from nothing to something, and you got a certain mindset and drive to just grow. And for me, I think you're a lot like this too, Brandy, is I achieve a goal and then I set a bigger one. Once that's achieved, I go to a bigger one. It's not just I got the goal and coast. Because I'll tell you one thing, when I coast, that's when things hit the fan. And it costs a lot of money, cost me good staff in the past, cost me other customer relationships. So the person coming in has to understand it's an entrepreneurial company and it's not a 9 to 5. I'm not saying that I want them to work 20 hours, but it's not clock in, clock out, and that's it. It's a different mindset and we do things differently. So let's spin this around now. Not only is it entrepreneurial, let's throw in a little splash of severe ADHD in there, right? So what I do with the interviews, I make sure that they understand this is who I am. This is how I am during work. So there's no surprise when they show up.
That's great. Do you meet with them individually? Have you delegated that out? Are you the person who meets with them initially, or tell me about that process?
Yeah. See, originally we have a phone interview process, and that was taken over. That was done by a team member. Basically, make sure that the resume was correct. Their experience they claim was as true as they can say it was. And if they had the mindset, or if they would fit in with our culture. And that was a big thing. At first, I didn't care too much, people reading them from the phone interview about the culture, fitting in with the culture. But that's an important one I should have talked about first. But culture is important. Once I figured out we want people that'll, it's a bad word to say, but to fit into our culture, they have to fit into our culture and want to grow, constant personal growth, and expand themselves. It's important. Have a sense of humor, be open to constructive criticism. So that's the phone interview. And then once we get the phone interview done, then we actually got Colby score, the Colby A that we do, because we actually have a Colby C that measures the MO, the modus operandi for the position, that what we expect from it. So to make sure that fits, because if they don't match, it's not going to work. And then we bring them into an interview. And at the beginning, I was involved in that. I let that go in the middle. We had a lot of problems. Now I reinserted myself. But the big thing I did about that interview stage is, what I did was, instead of me asking the questions, I had someone else ask the questions. And all I did was sit there and watch and observe and listen. Like when my ADHD, I have a real, and probably has a lot to do with the Asperger's too, is I have a knack to hear what's not being said.
Absolutely.
Right. And then we have some questions in there that it's asked a certain way at the beginning, it's asked again in a different way at the end, and I can catch people lying or trying to BS us. And then I call people on that.
Do you do that in the interview?
In the interview. Yeah.
Okay.
And if I start feeling they're BSing me, and I'm really good at this, I can get someone feeling they're BSing very well and they're going to get away with it. And then bam, I'll just nail them to the wall and say, and I'll challenge them, because I want to see what the reaction is. Because it's not only us that's going to be challenging, it's customers too. I got to see that if the customer calls BS on them, how are they going to react? So that's what I do. I observe and listen, and then I pipe in every once in a while for them to expand, or I challenge them. And then, I got a very fruitful, poetic justice to my language at times. It's my French Canadian in me, I say. And then sometimes I'll drop an F-bomb here or a couple S's just to see what the reaction is. And at the same time, but for me, challenging them is also to see how they react.
I love that, because that's how they're going to react with you on the job. So I think we talked about before, where we care about our experience working with people, right? And that's why you do it, is like, this is how I'm going to be, and I'm not going to apologize for how I am. I'm trying to be the best self I am, but I can't change fast enough, and this is my company. So what reaction have you gotten to that? Have people reacted well with that, do you find? Or do you find most people aren't used to that entrepreneurial drive?
They're not used to it. No.
Deer in the headlights.
Yeah, deer in the headlights, or someone got really angry.
Wow.
And it's fine. And to me, that's fine. It's like I tell them at the end. And I think we have to do this and understand this part. The interview isn't only for me, the entrepreneur, for a potential hire. That interview is for them to see if they want to work for us.
Yep.
Because what I do, I said, now I'm done this interview. Now it's your turn to interview me. And then you're going to leave here and decide if you want to work for me or us, because it's a two-way street. I don't want someone to just come here and have a job. I want someone to come here to kind of want a career and to grow. But come here to clock in, clock out, just do a job. It doesn't work. I've tried it. It doesn't work for me, and it doesn't work for them, because it's just, we're always pushing the limit. In the engineering that we're doing, we're always pushing the limit. We're always fighting with other engineers, linear minded people who just don't want to get away from the book. Right. And we're different. And then when I tried to surround myself with what the books were telling me to surround myself with, that's when I got into problems. Staff overturning constantly because they couldn't keep up with me. At the time, undiagnosed ADHD, emotional dysregulation taken over. But even though I know I got ADHD, I have control my emotional dysregulation. It still taxes it.
Drains your batteries. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, it drains your batteries. Yeah. And so it's understanding all that, but the person has to understand entrepreneurial companies are different. Do not change the way you do it because you want a certain person. Wow. Wow. That just came out of nowhere. That was good. That was good.
Some deep stuff there.
That was good because that's what I was doing. I was trying to change our ways in our company to bring in these people I thought were good for us, and it wasn't. And now I got people.
Yeah.
And what really got me with these last 4 hires was, this is who I am. This is what we're demanding. Is this what you want to work for? And they're like, these are the goals that I want to do. We want to work for a company that wants to do a bunch of stuff. And they right away at the end of it, you can tell this was the right place for them.
They lit up instead.
They lit up.
And so they judge you or they shut down. Yeah.
And then
said that.
And then the other thing too is, do not hire the best of the worst. If round 1 doesn't get you what you need, go to round 2. But don't go to round 2 with the same process and expectations. Change that job description. Right. I even went into LinkedIn and I even said, I'm looking for someone who wants to use their head, who makes decisions, will not cry when they get criticism, and wants to work and grow.
Yeah, it's almost like you become a polarizing force because like I think we talked about it in the podcast we just did a short time ago, in terms of like borderline apologizing how we are to fit other people. And that may have worked at a lower level. So talk to me about, as your business has scaled, how do you grow? Like, how do you maintain who you are and the gifts that you have? And how do you change or evolve as your business has grown? What are some steps that you've taken to do that, Andre? In order for the company to grow, and whatever other fancy word you just used is completely left my mind now. Like the engineering side, like I'm working on tactical breakthroughs. You know, I'm creating a program for high achieving ADHD entrepreneurs. And for me to do that, I need less time spent in engineering. So I had to give up a lot of tasks in engineering. And for that, I had to really look at is the stuff I do not like to do and I hate. And that's what I got my, good engineers now, because I'm tired of engineering. I don't like crunching numbers. I'm just really good at solving complex problems that others people give up on or can't figure out. They can stare at it for months and I show up. Like a good friend of mine, Derek Lobo, said, you're the magician in the construction field. But I have to give up the stuff. And what I found was very difficult is it was easy to say, I don't want to do all this crap anymore, but it's to get out of the habit of doing it. I can do it quicker. I can do it faster. I'll just 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. Then, the whole day is gone. You didn't do anything visionary. So I'm getting myself into a more of a truly visionary position where I can work with customers, figure out where we can develop more solutions, help my engineering manager, who's now my partner, lead the team, because I hate managing. I'm not a manager and I got no patience for it. And it's not fair to my team members for me to manage them because I got no patience with it. So getting over those tasks and getting over the habit of doing it and not feel guilty. To me, there's such a battle of guilt. Yeah. Talk to me a little bit. Let's switch gears a little bit about what do you do to decompress? Like our brains are constantly at a high level.
It never stops.
Never stops.
Never stops.
There are some ways. Have you found that? Is there anything in your life, Andre, that you're like, my brain actually shuts off?
If our brain shuts off, it's very disastrous for everyone around us. And then for me, that's one thing I really discovered through my therapy from the diagnosis a few years ago. A brain cannot be shut off. Mm-hmm. So for someone to tell me, learn how to relax, now I'm able to say, middle fingers up, people, I can't relax. It's physically impossible. The brain will not stop. So what I do now is I search for calm. So, mindful meditation is a big part. Having your early warnings, like for me now, I decide 3 things I'm going to work on in the day. When I'm done, I leave, no matter what time it is. Or if I'm starting to get a little frustrated with the team or clients, or I know I just can't get into it, I physically leave.
Yeah.
And then just go.
I started doing Irish goodbyes on my own meetings.
What's Irish goodbyes?
You just get up and leave. You don't even say goodbye.
Oh, I love it. There's a term to it.
It's like at a party, you just like get up and leave. And you know what? I can't like, I'm starting to own the fact that I'm the boss. Like I don't have to be obligated to meet with anybody. So if I don't like it, I just get up and leave. And
Yeah.
the team was looking at me like, where are you going? And I'm like, you got this. Like,
Right. And that
right
gives them trust, gives them, you have faith in them. But it's like a friend of mine told me too, is like, you got to stop clocking in and clocking out.
Yeah. Let's talk about marriage. Because you and I seem to be married to this. You and I are like, you're my male version, my male French Canadian version. But talk to me about marriage and being married to somebody who is your polar opposite, like I am. I'm married to somebody with Asperger's myself, and I have a child that has Asperger's who is very routinized. I don't know if that's a word. Very calm, very concrete. Talk to me about being married to somebody like that in terms of like, you not driving them crazy because
no, I drive them crazy constantly. I
apologize to them all the time.
I should probably do that more.
Yeah, how long have you been married?
2003. That's all I know. So we're coming up to 20. I just know that it's been 21 years we've known each other.
Yeah. How does it work? Like what makes it work, Andre?
What makes it work is I married someone who's not a drama queen.
Yeah. Amen.
Or drama king, it don't matter, male or female. I remember in university seeing these people dating all these people going, my God, the drama, there's just no way I can put up. I just knew subconsciously, not knowing I have ADHD, that was not going to be healthy if I got into this dramatic crap just for fun or just pick fights for no reason. So I was raised in that environment. I don't want this. So, and then what I did was I decided, wow, sounds like I'm not going to find this person ever. Or if I do, I'll probably be 75. So then I stopped caring about, I guess, drawing. But anyways, a friend of mine from high school hooked us up on a blind date, and there's just never been any drama.
And just accept you as you are.
Yeah. Yeah. And with no apology, she just do like she said at the wedding, like I did a smart ass speech, and then she comes up and she goes, basically all she said was, a lot of people have come to me and asked me, why are you dating him? Why are you marrying him? And then her reply was, there's just something good about him.
Yeah.
Something like so she saw the true me, and even throughout this life tempest, she should have left. A lot of people would have, but she carried through. And like I realized after a while, is who I was is not who I am. And then she always can see that. But yeah, very calm, cool, with the mood swings, with the impulsive, immediate replies of I'm not liking it. It just seems to blow off her shoulders, even though it does not. But it's definitely key. And then what she was key for us was once I was going through the diagnosis, she actually learned a lot about ADHD and how it affected, and realizing that, that's Andre doing it or just the ADHD type of stuff. Then it helped us understand our girls too.
Yeah, it's huge. Just because finding out my husband had Asperger, like that made me a lot more understanding. And I've got ADD, so we're quite a pair.
Yeah.
Seems to work, but it's like what ways are you always constantly thinking about work, or is it like your mind is just thinking, or can you?
It's always going. Yeah. I remember before my life tempest, my wife says, I don't want to talk about work at home, because she helped me grow the engineering, and basically, and then I couldn't talk to her at work about it because I learned early not to talk about growth with your team. So I was talking to her, but she was too busy. Then I couldn't talk about it anywhere, and it was frustrating me. And then one day she realized, I guess this was kind of realization that this is like ding, 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 early warning, ADHD here. She looked at me and says, you can never stop it. I can hear your brain rolling in the morning, even though we're sleeping in, quote unquote, your brain never stops, and it just never stops. And at the time of building my companies, yes, it was work related. How can I do this? How can I better that? But now I'm starting to compartmentalize and doing more stuff at home that's about self-care. Self-care was non-existent at the early days. So now I'm reading stuff that I want to read about that's non-work related, and having a, like my friend John Workington said, he reframed productivity or reframed work, sorry, to be more productive in self-care. Before, work was only work, but now he's saying work is also self-care. So now he just reframes what I'm going to do for work now at home at night is my self-care, which I thought was a pretty powerful thing.
We're closing up here, right? We're
Yep.
almost done. So tell me one thing that would shock this audience.
Shock this audience?
Like what's something you like to do that people might not think that you might like to do, or something that you like to do as a hobby, or just an interesting fact about you?
Oh, Lego.
Dude,
I still buy Lego. Their collections just.
I do too.
And the thing is, it's not just Lego taken out of the bin and making up stuff. It's buying a new kit and following the instructions. And that, to me, is so therapeutic. It's actually a mindful exercise therapy, mindful meditation. And I'll even take apart one and start, right? I got the 9,500 piece Millennium Falcon, right? I like Star Wars. It's a great story. But Lego is definitely a thing that even my parents to this day says, that's a child's toy. You got to stop doing it. So no,
it's meditation.
It's fantastic.
And you talk about how you can focus on something you're passionate about.
And the thing is, when I do that, I don't think of anything else. And for the ADHD brain, that is huge, man.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I have one thing that does that for me. It's going to a place, and as soon as the high speed it doesn't shut off, but it just like powers down, and it's a recharging experience.
Well, I think I think the brain's still going the same speed, but it's on one thing versus 20 different things, which takes more energy to do, right? Yeah. So even with karate, I joined up 1.5 years ago, and it's just, I can go in there for 2 hours and I come out and I'm refreshed, but it's because there's only karate I was concentrating on, nothing else would come in. It was huge, right? That's the mental break. And that's where about finding calm, but it's still rolling 100%, rolling, same speed RPMs, but how many wheels are we working on?
How many computers are there?
Yeah.
I really dig that. But thank you so much for today. I really enjoyed it.
No, this was a good one. I really like the fact that we touched with the interviews. My recommendation with interviews is job description's got to be key. Hire the people that you need. Don't change the way your company is for the person that you're trying to interview. And you have to be involved in the interview process and understand to know where you fit in best. For me, it's in the first stage of the interviews to read the true person and get rid of the other stuff too.
That's a gift. That's that's your seat. That's awesome. Thank you for today.
Thank you. I hope you, the listener, got to learn a little bit more about the interview process. And again, ADHD is unique to you. So therefore, you're going to have a unique interview process that suits your needs and the goals of your company. And like Brady said, it's your company, your rules, and you want to go somewhere with it. Make sure you got the right people on your team that want to do it. And an entrepreneurial company is not for everyone. So do not hire the best of the worst. If it takes you 5 rounds, make sure you refine your message for those 5 rounds and then find the right person, because you'll save a lot of time, money, and frustration.
Personally and professionally. I think that's what we hit. Both sides.
Oh, man, you're fantastic.
Came around. We hit it.
I'm gonna have to get you back on again. This has been a very good one.
I had a great time, Andre. Thank you so much for letting me do this.
Thank you, Brandy. And thank you to the listeners for gifting us your time for listening. If you got any questions or ideas for this podcast, send me an email at questions@theimpulsivethinker.com, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Thanks, Brandy.
No problem.